Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for another episode of Foundation Fest, and today I'm going to check one out from Catrice. This is the Clean ID Hydro BB Cream. Retails for $10 for 1.01 ounces of product. Comes in 7 different shades. I've got the lightest Fair Neutral. This isn't the brand new foundation that they've got out. They do have a foundation coming. Well, it's out, and someday it'll arrive to me. You know how Ulta shipping is these days in the pandemic era, but someday I will have it. But in the meantime, I've got this one. This is described as a vegan, cruelty-free, 99% natural BB cream. It's a lightweight BB cream that offers natural coverage and gives the skin a radiant finish. Enriched with shea butter, the nourishing formula works on all skin types. Gluten-free, alcohol-free, paraben-free, perfume-free. They also have certification in the EU, which restricts 1,500 plus different ingredients, where the US only restricts 11. So they've also banned an additional 60 plus ingredients across their brand that they just don't find appropriate in cosmetics. So they're very big on taking care to have safe, clean ingredients. This looks like it's got the glycerin, shea butter, squalane, all very high up, some hydrating alcohols, not the same as drying alcohols. There is oil in this, sunflower seed oil. Looks like a pretty hydrating formula overall. Let's take a look at this shade, Fair Neutral, swatched against a few others in my collection. Swatch time! First up is today's foundation from Catrice, the Clean ID Hydro BB Cream in shade Fair Neutral. Second, I've got from Wet n Wild the Tinted Hydrator in shade Fair. Third up is Milani Glow in shade 110 Fair to Light. Fourth is NYX Born to Glow in shade Light Ivory. And last, I've got the Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream in shade 21, which is a very similar undertone to the CYO Life Proof 101. My Life Proof is almost empty, therefore I will swatch Misha. I've already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened this 46-year-old face. I'm not using explicit primer. I did prime with the Pure Lease. This is the Blue Lotus Balancing Moisturizer. It's a nice prep under makeup. It's a combination moisturizer slash primer. I would say it's similar to the way I would use the Smashbox Primerizer, but the difference, I would say, the Smashbox is a tiny bit more hydrating than the Pure Lease, but the Pure Lease does a little bit more in terms of smoothing, texture, and fine lines. So that is what I've got going on for primer, since this is kind of a light coverage BB cream kind of a product, and I want that hydration to be able to sink into my skin. So I will use a sponge on one side of my face. This is a dampened AOA Studios Pawpaw Charity Sponge. The other side I will use fingertips. We will see if there's a preference one way or the other. Pretty light coverage with the sponge. I think the shade is also a little bit too light for me, but because the coverage is so light, it's really just balancing out redness a little bit. It's done a little bit of canceling out redness on my chin, but not a ton of coverage, just kind of a dewy finish to the skin, I would say. Let's try the finger side. This is working much better on the sponge side. With fingertips, I'm having issues with it sort of pilling up and grabbing on a little bit of dry skin I have on my cheek here, and I think the coverage is more even on the sponge side. It really is kind of a hot mess applied with fingers. Let's see if we can build up just a tiny bit, and I'm going to use the sponge. With the sponge, I was able to fix the area where the product sunk into my pores when applied with fingertips, but I'm kind of wondering if the product is staying on my skin or if it's all in the sponge and I've just got nothing on my skin except for what's clinging to dry skin flakes. because there's really not much coverage at all. It does give a dewy finish to the skin, so there must be something here. But the product itself, I don't feel like it's doing anything other than giving that dewy finish, and it's exacerbating dry skin flakes. You know what I'm saying? Let's zoom in and take a look. Okay, so, you know, everything looks okay, except, so this really just looks like my face with no makeup, except that where I've got flaking skin, I see the product clinging to the edges of all of that flaking skin. And so the areas of my face where it's not clinging look like they have no makeup on at all, and the areas of my face where it's clinging just look bad. Basically, the whole right side of my face, the non-nose ring side of my face, looks really bad. There's still redness on my cheeks that's not being covered, and it's clinging to the dry skin that I've got. Every place else, it just doesn't look like I have any makeup on. It just doesn't look like anything, which would be okay if it was improving what my skin looks like, but it doesn't look like anything. It's really not serving any obvious purpose that I can tell, except for giving me a little bit of glow on my forehead, and I might have already had that glow. I'm not sure. I don't think this is the kind of product that I reach for, really, at all. Even something like the Glossier gives a little bit more benefit, like coverage, not coverage so much as smoothing, than this. This just doesn't seem to do much except give me a little bit of reflect and cake up on my dry skin. You know what I tend to do with products like this is I try to use them as a base for powder. So let's do that. I will apply powder over this and we'll see how that goes. It is 2:42. Let me put the rest of my face on and I will be right back. And we're back. Gotta be honest, if I didn't have to teach a class right now, I probably would have just given up, washed my face, and been done with this one. I just don't see any reason to wear this. I did apply the Flower Beauty Light Illusion powder, and the areas of my face where I have no dry, flaky skin, it took just fine. But the areas that I do have flaking skin, which is right around here, the powder is also just clinging to those areas. And this powder generally doesn't cling to dry skin, so I think it's clinging to this product, and that's just it's a no-go for me because I have flaking skin almost all the time at some part of my face. So I feel like maybe it's made for people that just don't have as dry of skin as I do. If you're not dealing with flaking, you might have a perfectly good time with this. I will say, I don't think it gives a ton of coverage, and I don't think it does much for smoothing or blurring pores or texture, so I'm not sure why you'd wear it aside from a dewy finish. And once I powdered it down, notice most of the dewy finish is gone. It hasn't come to shine through again. So for my skin and the way I deal with wearing BB creams, it's just not stacking up to anything that I would wear again. But like I said, I gotta work. So the rest of my face, I did use the Flower Beauty Light Illusion powder. My bronzer is Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush. Why do I forget what it's called? Airbrush bronzer. Airbrush Flawless Finish is the powder that I love that this Flower Beauty is a total dupe for. Airbrush Bronzer uses the same formula as the Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. This is also a refillable compact, which is awesome. But my next goal, one of you guys suggested, several of you suggested actually in the comments, that I find a way to see if there is a shade of the Flower Beauty that works as a bronzer for me, which I haven't done that yet, but I'm going to, because if it does, same concept, and that would be awesome. I am wearing the Clarins Jolie blush in Cheeky Baby, which by sheer coincidence is the most gorgeous combination with the Wet n Wild Blossom Glow highlight. This is that like pinky champagne. It looks more champagne on camera, but it's got pink. There's a pink to it. And it's just the perfect match. Oh, these two go so well together. It's been my jam lately. And so that's my highlight. My eyes are just, you know I keep doing this. NYX Sweet Cheeks So Taupe in the crease. I'm testing out today for the first time the Flower Beauty watercolor eye tints. I bought a couple of these. And so you shake them up. They're liquidy watercolor. It's very true to the name. It's an eye tint. You know, it's a very, very sheer tint of sort of a shimmery light wash of color. So to that extent, they do exactly what they claim. Here's what's kind of bugging me a little bit about them. I think they're made for people that don't yet have any kind of loose or crepey skin on their eyelids, because where I put it up to my crease, I almost feel like I did my tie-dye in the morning and forgot to wash it off or something. Like, it's making the crease of my eye, because I have loose skin at the hoods of my lids, it's making that, when it dried up, it sort of shriveled it, and it's keeping it sort of locked in place, so my eye is not folding properly. So if you have any kind of loose skin, crepey skin, hooded lids, any kind of mobile lid movement, it might not be for you. So I don't know if these are going to work for me, or I'm just going to have to use them lower or just in the center of my lid or something. They're very, very, very pretty. But you see when my eyes are open that my crease isn't quite right? Like, it's folding in funny because of the way it dried. It's a very liquidy kind of a formula. Very pretty, but another product that might not be made for me, which totally bums me out because Drew Barrymore is my age. And you see her too. She's dealing with some 40-something issues like we are. But gorgeous packaging though. It's like beautiful, like bullet style packaging. And I love the new thing they've been doing, this little by Drew on the end. You guys know I totally crush on Drew Barrymore. This one might be a miss though. Oh, trying out a mascara that is new to me. It's new as well. CoverGirl. This is the Lash Blast Clean formula. I saved the packaging so I can tell you what it's free of. It is made without parabens, sulfates, talc, or mineral oil. It is a clean and vegan smudge-proof formula. It has a pokey wand, and you guys know that I would normally say a pokey wand is not my favorite. However, this did a really nice job of the interpretation of volume that they use is millions of lashes, like that lots and lots and lots and lots of lashes look, and that's my favorite interpretation of the word volume when it comes to mascara. So I really, really like what it did. And it's lengthening, again, to the point where my center lashes are tapping my eyebrow, which, that's crazy town, you guys. So we'll see if it does smudge proof. I did do it on the lower lashes, which you know I never do. You know my Estee Lauder Zero Smudge is my lower lash line mascara of life. But we're going to test this one out. We'll see if it smudges or not. So even if this isn't a great day for foundation, maybe we'll find some information out about a couple other new products. So I will probably go film the daily check-in now because we're about to have an ice storm. And then I'll come back tonight and give you guys my final thoughts. Well, our sleet, rain, ice storm has already started, so we'll have to do the old garage check-in because it is kind of raining pretty hard here. It's only been about an hour, so not much time has gone past in terms of determining where, but at least I don't even know that this is a color match check-in because I don't think there's enough coverage in this product to compare color. Like, I don't think it changed the color of my skin at all. Even though I feel like the shade is quite a bit too light for me, but I don't think there's a lot of product color. Anyway, here's what we look like up close, outdoors. I am so loving The blush and highlight combo, I can't even get over it, you guys. I don't know why I didn't try that combo sooner. I'm so glad I dug that Blossom Glow out of my stash, because I'm falling in love all over again. Anyway, there you have it. Here's daylight. That's where we're at. And I'll still be back tonight, and we'll wrap this one up. 11:35 p.m. That puts us right around the 9-hour mark. Let's take a look at how the Catrice Clean ID Hydro BB Cream held up. Well, we know from earlier discussion there wasn't really much to hold up. But I will say, I think it is hydrating. My skin feels really good. So maybe this is something you use as moisturizer that gives you a little bit of a dewy finish as long as you don't have any dry skin flaking. I don't know. That seems like a pretty particular set of circumstances under which I would recommend this. So that said, there's not a whole lot going on for this in terms of what I would use it for with dry and maturing skin. It's hard to grade something like this because it's so far out of the realm of anything I would wear because of the way it behaves that it's not necessarily a failure of a product. It's just not a product that is anywhere applicable to my situation. I suppose in that regard, for dry skin, it's fine. For maturing skin, well, it's not even fine for dry skin. It's hydrating, but it's terrible on flaking. So maturing skin, I can't really say it's good or bad. It doesn't help any of the things we're trying to combat in terms of appearances. It doesn't harm them. Like, I don't find it settling into lines or anything. Do you want to see this one up close? We should probably do the up close just for the sake of making sure we cover all the bases here. Let me zoom in and give you guys a look at this one. Basically, there's just not really coverage anywhere, but there never really was. I do have a little bit of product that has sunk into some of the pores on my nose, and I'm mildly disturbed to see sort of a whitehead forming along the side of my nostril. I don't break out very easily at all. And hopefully it's just a coincidental kind of one-time thing. But if this is breaking me out, that really makes me unhappy because it's hard to break me out. Blush, bronzer, highlights stayed very well intact, so I suppose to that extent it makes a decent base. I don't see product anywhere except where I originally saw it, which is clinging to the dry flakes on the non-nose ring side of my face. But like I said, when we started out, there wasn't really any coverage. I don't think all that radiant glow, the powder took it away and it never came back. Like, I don't feel like this is glowy at all. So there goes that part of it. If I had to give a grade, I'm sorry to do this because this one I had high hopes for. The Catrice Clean ID Hydro BB Cream, I gotta give it an F. I'm not gonna say that it's a bad product because I think there are scenarios under which this would work really well. It's just that none of them are my life. So since I'm doing these grades based on dry and maturing skin, if you've got any flaking, it's just not gonna help. If you've got mature skin, it's not doing anything to help improve the situation. It seems hydrating. If you can wear it without setting it, then maybe it's good for you, but not in my world. Let's hope that the foundation, A, arrives quickly, and B, why am I doing A and B when it's 1 and 2? Hopefully Ulta will get it here to me fast, and it'll be awesome. Because I have high hopes for that one too. Sorry on the Hydro BB Cream, not my favorite. There you have it. Another episode of Foundation Fest is in the books if you enjoy foundation reviews. If you had fun with this one, if you want me to keep on making them, give me a thumbs up down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.